All right, guys, what's going on? Welcome to the Frag Effect, our little video pod. Usual suspects on screen. I am the scent bubble, and why don't you introduce yourself to the
Yeah,
people?
you guys already know. You already know it's your boy Kix Griffey back in the building. We got another session, so let's get into it, man.
Let's get into it. So today we are going to bring you 6 fragrances. These are crate fragrances, if you will. They're fragrances that, as we were, we talk every week, and I mean, honestly, we could do 10 pods a week if we would just hit the record button during half of our conversations. But one of the things Kix was talking about is I was shopping for vintage this last week and going back wearing fragrances from like 1880 to 1980 and going back and trying to see what was going on in perfumery at that time to appreciate it, to maybe make some vintage discoveries. And I've always wanted to have maybe a top 10, top 20 vintage on my fragrance shelf. That's the way I build my shelf. I want a top 100 comprised of, top 20 vintage, top 20 clones and inspirations, top 20 designer, top 20 um, niche, and then a top 20 independent niche. And so I had been kind of digging back, so to speak, and Kicks in the background was kind of at that time cleaning out the closet and looking into all the fragrances and seeing, what do I have?
Mm-hmm.
And making some pretty cool discoveries that wind up being a lot of his scents of the days. And I think for him, and you could speak to this a little as well, but for him, it was getting to the point where he was like, "Whoa, like, dang, I'm sitting on a lot of heat that I feel just as great about as my new stuff as of recent that I've been picking up." And so that sparked conversation. I always tell Kicks, like, we kind of juggle off and on, hey, you take the episode topic for this week, or you know what, I got it.
This is
And we'll
true.
just kind of, I like to keep it fresh like that, and
This
be
is true.
challenged. And so he was like, yo, let's do 3 like reach backs, like joints that we haven't really been wearing a lot. That when we go back, we're like, man, this is still special. So I'm excited to see what he's gonna do. We never discuss our picks or even what's on our mind. So just like you guys, it's gonna be a surprise for all of us right now what we're about to roll out. And before we get started, Kicks, is there anything you want to add to that opening?
Pretty much, he said everything that was on my mind, and my whole thing is, people, this was sparked up based off of the topic that SB was talking about. I just want to leave you guys after you see this episode a reminder: dig back into the crates. Is because by digging back into the crates, you can possibly find that magic that you might have lost because we get new fragrances coming in all the time. So a lot of these fragrances that we have sometimes get missing in the shuffle. And these could be fragrances from a very, very long time. So, yes, please dig back in the crate. Dig back in the crate and see if there's any magic still there. And if it's not, please allow somebody else to possibly find that magic that you once had for it. Get rid of it, make space for new ones, all right? So that's all I wanted to
Absolutely.
do.
And I think
Mhm.
also there's so many different ways to use fragrance that sometimes you go back in the crates and you find a new job for the fragrance. Oh
True.
man, I was thinking of Encre Noir a la Extreme. Uh, that wasn't one of my picks today, but I wanted to bring it up because that's a fragrance where when I first smelled it, I was so impressed that it was a little bit better but identical to Chanel exclusive Sycamore. And
Mm.
and so I immediately liked it, but then wearing a very dry, ambery, woody fragrance isn't the most feasible in Arizona. And yet, where it transitioned for me in my collection is realizing that due to its simplicity, it can be a base and a grounding tool for just about any fragrance that is too light, too airy, lacking complexity, lacking backbone. And now it's a fragrance I use quite often to put a spray or two on before the fragrance to give a fragrance complexity, give it masculinity, and things like that. So what started as maybe this will be a fragrance I just wear became, no, this is a staple kind of Band-Aid fragrance that can fix a lot of problems with scents that I feel are lacking complexity or longevity or just anything. So that can happen too, where fragrances can shift their purpose in your collection. Some things you might collect, some might be utility, some might be star power. You know, you're building a roster, and you don't always know when you're buying fragrances what position that fragrance is best fit for, because you change and the circumstances change. With that being said, Kicks, start us off, man. What's your first
Okay.
fragrance for us today?
My first fragrance, my first pick. This I was looking, like I said, digging in the crates, and I was looking and rummaging, and believe me, it was dust on this thing. I went ahead and pulled off Armaf Aura Fresh. Aura Fresh. If you guys can see that one, hopefully it tunes in. Let me see. Boom. Can you find me? Can you
Yep.
find me? And you found me. Okay. Aura Fresh has a beautiful star anise or star fruit note, lemon, bergamot, cardamom up top, sage, pepper in the mid, woody notes, musk, cedar, amber, and saffron. This is very familiar and a reminiscence, a resurge of Versace Meno Fresh. Okay? The difference between these two, this is an EDP. It's going to last longer and you're going to enjoy it just a little bit more. Why? Is because with the transitions and with the higher oil concentrate, you're able to make it last a little bit longer. It might almost seem forever if you're used to the old fresh EDT. This is wonderful for warm weather heat. I had it in a 79-degree this week and it worked as a charm. It is almost redundant to have both. So if you don't have Versace Mano Fresh and you were looking for something with longer longevity, but you really like it, but you wanted something close to it, but damn near one to one, go ahead and just get this Armaf Aura Fresh.
Excellent.
Magnetic
Yeah,
candle.
I want to put my nose on that for sure, because I'm starting to get into my lighter scents bag, my fresh stuff. And, a lot of times with Dolce & Gabbana Light Blue and Manna Fresh and stuff like that, most of the biggest gripe with that stuff is just the longevity. It's not really that the scent sucks. The scent's great. It's light, it's airy, it's fresh, and women love fresh scents, and they're dumb reach oftentimes. And so it's either the fragrance is good but not great, or the fragrance
Mm-hmm.
is great but lacks that performance. So to be able to get an inspiration fragrance that brings that longevity, and that really was kind of a huge motivating factor in clones, is they were trying to make the same fragrance but give you the performance. And so here's a good case in point of that. So excellent choice.
Perfect. Perfect. What is yours, my guy? Let us know.
So first fragrance I want to start us off with is a discontinued fragrance from the House of Banana Republic, and it is Slate Arctic.
That
And
one is discontinued, correct?
it is discontinued. You
Yes.
can still find it online very affordably. You can still find it in a Burlington or a Marshall's here and there. It's becoming less there. Burlington's probably your best choice in person. But online, I think it's one of those fragrances that there's a lot of DNAs like it. So people aren't in a rush to overcharge on this discontinued fragrance because they probably have something that does the job for them. Now, I'm going to tell you why I like it. So, number one, the performance is there. It's not nuclear, but it's solid. Um, I'm not a fan of Invictus Aqua. I'm going to keep it a
Mm.
stack. What I struggle with those fragrances, the kind of metallic, heavy bergamot, citric, light, airy, watery, slightly sweet, sometimes bubblegummy type of scents, is number one, the masculinity I feel is very age rangy, and they typically lean younger.
Okay.
And then two, just the profile idea of citrus metallic, citrus aquatic, citric
Mm.
light, airy, kind of sweet isn't really my bag. Um,
Okay.
it doesn't excite me. It's just kind of like it's good, it's solid, but I'm over solid.
Mm.
But what I love about Arctic Slate is it has everything that these fragrances provide. It has a beautiful, airy, crisp citrus. It has the watery notes that you would find in a Nautica Voyage or an Aqua. Um, it has a beautiful backbone of what I feel is like aromatics, like either like a sage geranium type of vibe going on. So it's got, this aromatic plant life heart,
Okay.
and it's just a nice three-piece combo. It's got the texture, it's got the authentic citrus. It's not sharp or piercing, it's soft and smooth. I feel like fragrances like this, they round out the sharpness of the cheap citrus with bubblegum accords and sweetness.
Mm.
And this doesn't really go there. It is sweet, but it's like a 3 or 4 out of 10 sweet. The sweetness is not what's in charge of rounding out the sharpness and making it smooth. It's the aromatics that smooth out the citrus. And then it's just got really good girth to it. Like you put it on, it goes, it projects. It's not really a sillage scent. It's more like a 3-4 foot projection bubble that just goes with you and floats with you. It'll certainly leave itself behind, but when I think of scent trail, I think of seduction. Not necessarily seduction like sweetness, but lingering allure. And this
Allure.
isn't
I was
this
about to say that.
this really isn't lingering allure. This is um you ran by me and took my breath away for half a second. And the price again, I've got it for 20-ish bucks. Um and this is, if I ever had to go down that rabbit hole of style, the Manna Fresh, the Dolce & Gabbana Light Blue, the Invictus Aqua, the Silver Mountain Water, anything in that realm, I just feel this is my speed. I'm finding that balance is everything for me.
Mm.
Notes that I might not have liked in the past, I find aren't really because of the notes. It's because of the blend. Stuff is sticking out when it shouldn't be. Stuff is stealing the show and it's not that much of a lead performer. If you just give me smoothness and blend, I can appreciate everything equally rather than being distracted. And that's where I think the power of this fragrance is the blend is so smooth, it translates as one scent profile that blooms and unravels itself when it sits on skin. I just think this is probably top 3 best Banana Republics from a utility standpoint. It's not the most star
Okay.
power scent profile, but
Okay.
it is the easiest to wear and feel above average. Again, if you are into your what's the fragrance? Your Cool Waters, your Nautica Voyages, some of your Lacoste, your Invictus Aqua, your Manna Fresh, your Dolce & Gabbana Light Blue, all that stuff. This to me is just staple. It sits right in there as like there might be one quality, performance or scent or complexity missing from the others, like one of those. This just checks it all. And it's not quite like everything else. Everybody smells like light blue. Everybody smells like Nautica Voyage. Everybody smells like
Sure.
Invictus Aqua. Go off the beaten
Yeah.
path a little bit and try this out. This is really special juice to me that I have actually in the last 2 weeks, I've probably rocked it about 3 times and gotten
Okay.
compliments.
Okay. Okay. That sound like a plus. It sound like a plus. Wow. Okay. Well, I'm glad you ran across that one again. Well, let me not waste any time. The next one I'm bringing up to you guys is one that is a rack store cheapie, but I consider it a gem. Ed Hardy's Skull and Roses.
Mmm.
Ed Hardy's Skull and
It's
Roses.
a great
Yes.
fragrance.
I gotta admit, if you are with that fierce Abercrombie and Fierce of Fitch Fierce, and you want it, but the price is up, my God, you can get it through this. And then if you don't want to spend upwards of the Mont Blanc Legend, you can get this. If you don't want to go with the Percival PDM, you can go with this. And what it does bring for me, it brings that freshness, that spiciness, that citrus magic. And when you guys know, if any of you guys, I'm very sure, have smelled Abercrombie and Fitch, if you guys smell Percival, any of those, you guys know that spiciness, that masculinity, and that sage, the musk. This is oak moss in here too, and the oak moss is in like extremely like you would get in other freshies. It's a nice little balance to it with it being affordable. So when I smelt this, it brought back some good times. And yes, you can still wear this in 2025. So, you guys, with the freshness, the lavender, the citrus, the cardamom, which is spice, the musk, oak moss, you can't lose. This brought up energy and magic for me. So, once again, I would like to bring out of the crates Ed Hardy's Skull and Roses.
Yeah.
That's that.
Skull and Roses and Fierce are kind of, to me, the genesis of fragrances like Carlisle, African Leather, Percival. That spicy, sweet, elegant but playful but youthful feel. And I feel like
Fresh.
what Ed Hardy and Fitch did was it took that profile that otherwise would have been used to fit a more masculine date tone and made it cool.
Exactly.
They gave it
Exactly.
that collar pop coolness that
It did.
turned
It did.
something sophisticated into casual sophistication. And that's what Abercrombie was as a brand. It was a preppy brand.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
it was
Yeah,
people who
yeah.
had money but were doing casual stuff like going to school and working at retail. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
they just, that DNA nails them as a company. It was a strategical like accomplishment of what they did with that profile. And I mean, that's like a $15-20 fragrance at
Yeah.
Burlington, and it's just got
Yeah.
star power all over it. And I call it like upscale casual. It definitely
It
doesn't
is.
feel like boy toy material. It just feels like elegant,
Mhm.
sophisticated. I'm cool. It's cool cat type
It's
of wear.
cool. Yeah. 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 It is that. So I'm just saying, you guys check it out. Check it out. Check it out. What do you got next up on the menu, my guy?
We're not gonna play no games. I've got Offnon Supremacy in Heaven.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we're
Okay.
just gonna come out the gate and say it. There's a lot of iterations of Silver Mountain water. This is the best, no question. This smells like Silver Mountain water. I repeat, Silver Mountain water. Nothing else. It is crisp. It is clean. It is fresh. It is distinct. It has a silhouette in the game of freshness. Most importantly, the thing that elevates this fragrance, aside from the fact that it's the most accurate, but it's got that performance that's spray it, put it down, and don't worry about fragrance all day. Collectors like us, it's something we're willing to negotiate in the name of beautiful perfumery, and fragrances have different objectives. With this scent profile, you want it to last. You don't really need to spritz it because the experience from the opening to the dry down isn't much of a change. So why rock a decant? Why can't it just go? This is tea. This is citrus. This is
Mm,
metallics. This is black
mm,
currant. Black currant kind of functions how oak moss does with credaventus. It gives a breath of groundy earthiness through the fragrance. So this is what I call top, middle, bottom, right? Top of citrus and waters and metallics. The heart note is the tea to calm it down and give it serene air. And then the base of black currant. And don't look at the pyramid. This is what SB is telling you. And then in the
okay.
base, you have this black currant, this groundbreaking, earthy, almost seemingly smoky, but it's not really smoky like incense. It's just this kind of almost dark earthness gust of wind, similar to how patchouli might function, but it's a lot more fresher and lighter. The black currant is like almost a slight fruity tinge to citrus with a gust of ground air. And
Mm,
so it really has full body. And because of that, 4 to 6 sprays truly goes the whole day. Um, so great that you can just pop, 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 pop and go and never think about fragrance again and just watch the magic happen. I think one thing people sleep on about Silver Mountain water and clones of Silver Mountain water is I've learned a lot about women with this fragrance. I've learned that women do love star power scents, sweet,
mm.
spicy, vanillic, seductive, but just as equally, they love a good they love when a man smells like he just came out of the shower. That right there is
Freshness.
just as equally intoxicating to a woman as romantic pasta and cheesecake type of sense. You know what I'm saying? And we
Hmm.
really sleep on fragrances, speaking of earlier, like Dolce & Gabbana Light Blue and Manna Fresh and all these. They're so simple to us collectors, but to women, it's man, this man is clean and fresh, and that means a lot to a woman. For whatever
Hmm.
reason, they just love a soapy, clean man. And so
This is true.
so don't shortchange yourself from convincing yourself that a fragrance as simple as, citrus black currant tea wouldn't be intoxicating to a woman because this is the category next to the date night and seduction that they equally esteem with very high value in terms of what they want men to smell like. This is why Bleu de Chanel is popular as it is. This is why Invictus Aqua is as powerful as it is. Sauvage, just the fresh, out of the shower, somewhat spicy, somewhat citric, masculine, earthy soap feel. Again, the performance is insane. And the reason I brought up the whole thing about performance is just when you smell this on the test strip, it's good, no
Hmm.
question. But it's really what happens when this tart, citric, metallic, harsh black currant all settles down. And then it gets smooth. And when
Mm.
it gets smooth, this is a sillage fragrance. This is everywhere you walk, you will paint the town red. You know what I'm saying? And everywhere you
Hmm.
go, it will be who is this man that just got out of the shower who's just running amok? This is this when you think about a utility dumb reach, you can literally wear Silver Mountain Water or Off Non Supremacy in Heaven every day of the week, and it can be a signature scent in that regard, just always being known as the clean, fresh man who is upscale with it because it does have its complexity. Like I said, it has a top, it has a heart, and it has a base. So it checks the boxes. It might not be playing with sweet and all this stuff, but it's got texture, it's got scent profile, it's got atmosphere to it, space, and it's got the connection to nature in it. it just goes and goes and goes and doesn't stop. You know, for me, it's like almost a nuclear fragrance. It's 10, 12 hours without even trying. You know, you almost have to wear the fragrance based off hoping, you know, estimating when it's going to turn off because it just goes and goes and goes. But yeah, I mean, you talk about spending 20 or $30 for a fragrance that only takes 4 to 6 sprays and goes all day. What else do we want, people? What else do we want? And lastly, I just want to say my problem with citruses and citrus aquatics is they stop there. You know, here you get the grounding of earthiness that you would find in like a Bleu de Chanel or a Armani Code, and that counterbalances the open, airy, tart top. But then you have the tea note. And between what the earthiness is doing and the tea is doing, it takes everything you love about a light, airy, fresh citrus fragrance and gives it 2 additional dimensions. And then you get all that performance. So that's what makes this sit above the rest. This smells more like Silver Mountain water than Silver Mountain water does today in its current formulation. That says a lot. It probably won't make many people's top 5 or top 10 clone list, but when you look at the usability and versatility of this scent, it belongs there. And so, yeah, put your nose on it, guys. Off Non Supremacy in Heaven.
Wow, wow. Well, you guys, what a wonderful pick, SP. Great pick for your number two. Here is my number three, y'all. My last number three. And yes, I went with Armaf again. Armaf Hunter.
Oh, nice.
Armaf Hunter is my sin of the day today as well. And I have the dry down. That's why when y'all saw me sniffing my hand on my arm, it was for a reason. I'm going to give you guys a fresh take on it or whatnot. And this is a reminiscence of Lacoste 1212 white. Okay. And what you're gonna get is grapefruit. You get the woods, the cardamom, a little bit of spice, ylang ylang, all of that. The cedar wood. It has sandalwood and vetiver, which I don't like those notes, and you can smell it in here. But overall, this fragrance definitely shine in warmer weather, and it's easy to wear. It's definitely office friendly. It's just a nice citrus, smooth, lightly creamy, fresh fragrance. Clean, clean linen almost. Freshness. You could wear it in the heat. Um, you can get this fragrance for like 17 bucks, even less. 17 to $20. If you haven't gotten Lacoste 12 white, you can get this and not miss nothing. So the reason why I also pick these is because these are easy reach. You guys can easily accessibly get these fragrances. And not only that, it's not going to hurt your pocket. And there's magic behind fragrances. Let's not get caught up in the brand name. Let's not get caught up on, oh, it's not complex. Let's not get caught up in, oh, the synthetics and this, that, and the third. Is the fragrance good? And I say that the fragrances that I picked, including this one, is very good. Utility wise, going out on a casual, going to work, it's just almost a Swiss Army knife. You can't lose. This one is a very good decision. So check it out. Armaf Hunter.
Excellent. And remind me, what was your second choice again?
My second choice was it was the Ed Hardy, right?
Ed
It
Hardy,
was the Ed
yes.
Hardy.
Skull and
It was the
Roses.
Ed. Yeah, yeah. It was the Ed Hardy Skull and Roses.
Okay, yeah, I wanted to write that down so I could start adding that in the descriptions. Okay, guys.
Mm.
All right, let's take it home. Take it home with YSL Loam.
Oh, oh, nice, nice.
I didn't know it until this year, but basil is now top 5 dead or alive favorite notes in fragrance.
Mm.
I didn't know why I love this fragrance. It's the basil. Basil rubs up against sweetness in a way where it's like a plant leaf, a leaf of a plant brushing up, and you get this kind of green freshness. And basil is also sweet. It's a natural sweet plant brush among this sweet, cozy floral experience. I don't know how you guys feel about this, but there's certain herbs that when you cook with them, they ignite the senses. Rosemary, basil, bay leaf, thyme, even things like garlic, shallots, onions, different types of onions. You have your caramelized onions, you got purple, you got white. They just do something to you. And for me, it's basil. Basil connects you to the earth, but in the coolest way possible. It's a swag plant. You know, what plants do you know off the top of your head that can bring greenness, freshness, and sweetness in and of itself? You could probably make a basil fragrance with just singular note basil. Guys, I know you guys like La Nuit de l'Homme. I love it. I know you guys love it, and it gets talked about the most. But let me just tell you, man, that fragrance might have a little more star power, but every time I smell this, it puts a hook in my nose and just holds it right here. It's like I can't get my nose off of my hand, no matter how hard I try. And that's what women do to this fragrance. When they smell this, they don't want to leave. They don't want to leave, man. Like, honestly, guys, do me a favor. Call your girl up. Call the girl you want to call up. Or approach the girl in school or at a job or at the cookout. Just light yourself up with this. You know, shout outs to, what is it, Gems? Or no, TC Scents, I believe. This fool sprays nuclear fragrances like water. I mean, it's like a 30 spray minimum. And I choke seeing him spray himself. But this is a fragrance that I challenge you. Go ahead and light yourself up with 30 sprays. Go outside just so you don't pass out. Let it sit down and approach that girl. Approach the girl you're already seeing. Approach the girl you want to be seeing. And just start a conversation with them. And watch how every minute she will slowly get closer and closer and closer. If you're cuddling, she ain't leaving. You're going to be like, yo, what is it? This chick's weird. She won't get off me. What's the... we go out to eat. She don't want to sit across the table and be a normal human being. She want to sit next to me and, you know, table for two. You don't even need the other side of the table. When she hug you when you leave, she's going to sit. You know when a girl hugs you when you dating your girl, right? And she goes, I don't want to leave. Oh, and that hug lasts a little bit longer, and she come back for another kiss, and she finds something dumb to talk about so she can just stand there, and all that good romantic stuff. This is close proximity kill, close proximity gravity, super signature scent worthy. I don't know of many fragrances that check all the boxes in this profile in the designer category. And I truthfully think it is the basil doing it, because when you take away the basil, it's just a cozy, floral, warm, sweet fragrance like a Marc Jacobs or a Cedrat Boisé or, you know, just something kind of cozy, vanillic, floral. But with that basil, you get this green, fresh brush, and you get this plant sweetness. And plant sweetness and herbal sweetness is different than floral sweetness. It's different than
It is.
sugar sweetness. It's different than fruit sweetness. It's just it's the most pleasing sweetness because it comes from the earth. It's just
Earth, right?
nature
It's
sweet.
herbal.
That
It's a
nature
herbal fragrance.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that nature sweetness is beautiful. And it's like when you smell musk therapy, for instance, and you get sweetness from white florals. That smells better to me than the sweetness you would get in like a Ani or a Grand Soir or Instant Crush, because that's like vanillin sweetness. Ice cream sweetness does not smell more arousing and pleasing than floral sweetness. But I think herbal sweetness, specifically basil, is like a one of one quality of sweetness that has a different tone and a different vibe that things like vanilla and other stuff just can never achieve if they tried to. And I just thought it was majestic how they put that with this, because you get the warm, close proximity coziness that a vanilla would do, but it's so earthy that it has this like almost therapeutic addiction, this yoga level addiction in
Yeah.
its
Yeah.
romance. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, you're in an aquarium or a planetarium type of vibe where you're one with the earth. It's a Adam and Eve romance. There we go.
I agree.
Um, and it's
I
just
agree.
special. You guys got to put your nose to it. Again, Lano de Lome, all the other YSL variants, they might have a little more loud star power in their opening, you know. But in terms of the cozy dry down, this is a fragrance that you just got to hit yourself with 20, 30 sprays and just
Exactly.
stand back and go in for that 2 to 4 hour close kill. And I tell you, it will make every interaction with the opposite sex more memorable, more interesting, more long lasting. Just watch how people respond to this fragrance. Get yourself out of it. See how your conversations change and how body language. This is a fragrance that evokes body language.
I
Um,
agree.
and it's just special. I always love this fragrance. This fragrance will be a memoir. So it wasn't as much a reach back in the sense of it shocked me how good it was. It just never ceases to amaze me how much I enjoy it every time I put it on.
Mm.
And in my collection and in my journey, it might be 6 months to a year before I get to see it again.
Yeah.
And so for me, it
Yeah.
is a reach back because it's like, I know it's going to be good, but then I spray it and I'm like, dang, it really, it can listening to the same song over and over really be fun? Yes,
Yeah.
it can. There are fragrances like
Yeah.
that. And for me, it's YSL L'Homme. Um,
Wow.
just one of the top 5 dead or alive designers out there
I
that
agree.
I don't think I could ever see myself without a bottle of it. And it's also funny that because you have to spray it so crazy because the performance is like 2 to 4 hours, maybe 4 or 5 hours if you lotion up or do the cosmetic work underneath. Because of that, I should have ran through this juice a long time ago, but I I I'm so careful with it, you know, and I don't want to have to buy another bottle. It's like it's such a good juice. I don't want to run through it. I want to take my time with it. I want it to feel special occasion. I'm not going to put this on every date. I'm going to put this on when I have a goal with my romance. You know, it's like to get the date or the first date or the first date we do something expensive or the first time she comes over. Special occasion romance that you need to set a tone right away to let her know she's special. And yeah, YSL L'Homme, guys.
You guys have it. Our three picks of digging in the crates. This is the fragrance effect. You guys, I appreciate you guys joining us. This was an awesome uh, dive in as far as just appreciating what we have. Is there any last words you want to leave us with, SB?
Um, think about all the fragrances you don't wear in your collection. Spin the block on them and wear them, and just have an honest personal discussion. Get out of your head with what Fragcom says about these fragrances. Don't think about what everybody says about Bleu de Chanel and Sauvage and Dylan Blue. Don't listen to SB. I have strong opinions about a lot of these fragrances. And so if you're listening to my voice while you wear them, I can mess your head up. You know what I'm saying? This is where you have to just think about, okay, what do I feel when I wear these fragrances, and do I get that feeling with anything else? And be honest and be confident in what you gravitate towards. There's people who might say, what's SB holding up Artic Slate when he's got his top shelf alone is like $20K? That makes no sense. It makes all the sense to me.
What am I doing? What am I doing? Pulling that, and I'm messing with designers and niche, right?
Yeah. It's because this reality right here, guys, when you don't see labels and you smell juice first, you realize you can get a phenomenal experience of equal or higher caliber than other stuff you might esteem, or what the community tells you is better. To you, it's not always the case, and that's where you got to be honest, you got to be informed, and you got to be confident. I will put all of our picks in the description below so you guys can get your nose on these and try them out for yourself. And yeah, this is the fragrance effect. We're just trying to start discussions and put a camera to things that we're already talking about. Please sound off in the comments. Like, what are some things you guys went back to, or thinking about going back to, or maybe go back to some stuff and post, the experience that you had in the comment section. We'd love to have that conversation and keep that thing going. If you guys have any feedback on the channel as far as the pod's concerned, of things you guys want to hear about throughout the week, we're more than happy to tailor that to you guys. And with that, we hope you guys have a blessed week. My name is SB, rocking with my boy Kicks, and this is the Frag Effect. Peace.